What's up, YouTube? After a 1 month hiatus of not posting anything, I had some thoughts in my mind about this creative world and having creative friends and how they can help you.
Hey, Deep,
I was trying to get him
if I came up to you and just told you your shit sucks, what would you say?
I'd say, fuck you, Neil.
I filmed this real quick.
Yeah.
I'm filming a little BTS for the man, the myth, the legend over here. Quick side note, I feel like I wear my blue hoodie and I take cold showers. So after cold showers, I like to wear something warm. So don't judge me. Anyways, I wanted to make this video, not for some time. I've had this idea for the last 30 minutes and I said, instead of writing out a bunch of stuff and getting super formal with it, I'm just kind of gonna spitball and talk about the importance of having creative friends in your life and how they will support you, I feel like, a lot more than your day-to-day friends, your coworkers, sometimes even your family. Reason number one as to why you should find and build good relationships with creative friends is because they are in the same field as you. They understand what the work is like. They understand the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the good days where you feel like you're on top of the world and the lows where everything seems like it's falling apart. And for those of you who are new, if you don't know, I have pretty much been a full-time creative now for the past May, June, July, 3.5-ish months. If you haven't checked out my previous video where I talked about what the first 60 days look like, it'll be linked somewhere in the bottom. I might pop it up right here. But over those 3 months, I feel like I've formed good relationships with creative peers. Some relationships have become better than like some people that I've talked to for years. And that's reason number one. It's because they understand your struggle. They understand what you go through mentally as a creative. Whereas if I was to talk about a struggle that I'm having creatively with one of my closest friends or a family member or a coworker, they won't necessarily have the right words to pick you up or give you some sort of inspiration or put that fire under your ass to just go make something. And I think this needs to be talked about a little bit more amongst creatives, just on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. It's because this journey, I feel like it can be really lonely, but it's if you choose to make it lonely. I have had times over the month of July where it has become very lonely on a personal level, making videos like this. And a goal of mine for 2024 was to like post more YouTube videos consistently. Have I been doing that? No. And that's because I put myself in a box. I focused a lot on just getting client work done, and then I didn't have any fuel inside of me to like make my own stuff, even though I did have the time. I was putting too much thought and pressure into making something that was good or the idea being perfect. It was just going into this whole like perfectionism phase. I've been getting more into photography, and as a result of that, I post more short form videos just showcasing some of the photos that I've taken over the past couple of months, but it wasn't as rewarding. It didn't feel as good as putting out a video, talking in front of a camera, letting out my emotions. Reason number two is endless amounts of inspiration. And you guys kind of know how this works. When you make creative friends, you stalk their pages a little bit. You'll stalk their Instagram, their TikTok, their YouTube. You'll look through a lot of the stuff that they've done, and then you see a mutual person that you both follow. You go to their page, boom, you're connected. You follow each other. You show love. You form this sense of community with other creatives. At least I have, and if you're a creative that's watching this, I urge you do the same as well. Anytime I see one of my boys or gals post something on Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, I always, maybe 1% of the time, forget to show love, but 99% of the time, I am showing love. I'm either commenting, I'm either sharing, I'm definitely leaving a like, and then sometimes I'll even pop into their DM and let them know why I liked something or what they could have done better. Having creative friends is like a consistent form of having consistent feedback. You're always having the people that you care about the most creatively look at all the stuff that you're doing, especially if you voice that to them. If you let them know that like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? What could I have done better? What sucks about this? And not gonna lie, this reason number 2, I need to be even more aware of it. I need to be better, because there are times where like I'll post something and then just kind of like shut off the app and not really look at it for a little while. But the times that I have asked for feedback, I've always learned something. And it's really important in any creative niche or field that you're in to know that there is never like a cap on potential. There's always room to grow, learn, find new little tricks of your trade, I guess I can say. And remember, this is especially coming from someone who, again, is a beginner. And I'm going to label myself as a beginner until I become really, really fucking good at this. And even when I am good, I'll still probably call myself a beginner until I give myself 10 or 15 years in this creative world. So remember, the more creative friends you have, the more reasons you have to be inspired, get feedback, and build community. And number 3, my favorite reason to have creative friends: gigs. The past 2 months, from knowing all the people that I know, networking, I guess you can say, if someone isn't free or if someone doesn't have the availability for something, they'll kick a gig over to me. They'll let me know if it's paid. They'll put me in contact with the person that I need to be in touch with. And I think over the past 2 months, I've probably had like 3 gigs extra that were just kicked over to me. They're like, hey bro, like I'm out of town. Like, can you do this? Hey, I have this going on. Can you do this for me? Can you cover this? Like, would love to kick it to you. I am always open to extra gigs, especially if it's something that I haven't done before or something that's new. Great way to practice your craft. And what's even better about all this is when you get a gig, especially, again, something that's new to you, you get to network. You get to network with people in different fields. And once you network with them, they may have opportunities. They may have something come up that they can kick over to you. And again, this applies to everything. If you're a painter, if you're a photographer, a videographer, if you're someone who like draws, like it can be any art form. I like the word community. It's like building a cool group of individuals that will look out for you, and maybe even sprinkling in messages like hey, do you have like any extra gigs that you can't take on, or if you know anyone that needs a secondary cameraman, an extra photographer, an extra production assistant. It can be anything. And for me as a beginner, I definitely try to take on those opportunities to the best that I can, and you should too. So those are my 3 quick tips as to why you should focus on finding more creative friends. Funny enough, I've been talking this long and I realized I didn't even mention the most important part, like how to find creative friends. Attend free events, send a bunch of DMs, look for something that's popping in your city, because if you think there isn't, that's not true. There always is. I'm fortunate to be living in Illinois, pretty close to Chicago, downtown. Lots of creatives, lots of cool ass people doing a bunch of cool shit. But this is my thing, sitting and talking to a camera. Trust me, there are a lot more people that are doing cooler stuff than I am. And it doesn't matter if you're in a random place in Indiana, if you're in New York, if you're in LA, if you're in Idaho. There's always creatives that are around you doing something cool. So send a cold DM, send an email, figure out a way to just connect, hop on a call. And I really do think it can take your creative potential, your creative ability, helping yourself out financially as a creative. It can take things to the next level. So those are your 3 things. Number 1, you can relate to them. They are in the same niche. Number 2, you will always have endless amounts of inspiration from consuming their work, people that will support you, aka you have a community of people around you that are ride or die. And number 3, you get gigs, you get money, you get opportunities sent to you that you don't necessarily have to look for. Especially if you prioritize being a good person, being kind, having fun, being you, not being too uptight. I'm listing off a bunch of things, but this is all stuff that I care about, and I feel like it's why I have a couple creative friends that I feel like care about me. That's the end of the video. Much love. Take care. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.